exploded, and we have a great competitiveness. Because of that, we don't want to lose. But then after I come back, as you said, I found a very quiet place for me to really think about what I should go. I think now it's more comfortable to to do my own thing, because I realize that money is not everything. You don't want just to chase for money for chasing for money. You know what I'm saying? It's like you feel more how to say, feel more comfortable. I think I get along with myself.
Yeah, we were talking about, like, we were sort of having a casual discussion, and at one point I bring up the term success, and then that's what Charlie has to say about the topic about success in general. Just he mentioned that initially he has a different goal or definition of success, and now it shifts and changed to a different form of the definition that is in a way individual would find their own way of defining their own success.
Yeah, that's interesting, and that's the thing that I want to ask to him as well, like about the like how you, first of all, how do you define your goal? Because sometimes the problem for a lot of people is that they know that what they don't want, but they don't know what they want in life. So that's a good question, like how you do to know what you want in life, and the other question is how you do to achieve them.
Exactly. Yeah,
so you can answer this question, like share something to, like, because you know what you want in life now, and you kind of some of it you achieve some of it, so maybe you are the good person to ask those questions, I think.
Wait, I'm sorry, is that question or something? I didn't get it.
I think she's trying to ask you the question now, so let's go.
That's the point. That's the thing that I want to ask you, like, because now, Charlie, you know what your goal now, right? And as I said, kind of, and but a lot of people don't really know how to define their goal. So how did you do, like, from your experience to to know your goal, to know your purpose, to know your passion, in life?
You mean how to define the goal and how to find the goal?
Yes, because it's a kind of hard for a lot of people.
Well, from my experience, I think it's not easy to really find your goal. And the first thing is that you have to believe yourself. You have to believe what you are doing, what you have been doing over your life, over your first 10 or 20 years is valuable. It's worth it. You have to believe that like all the things you're doing is for the final goals, like you want to reach something. If you don't find it, just keep looking. But I gotta say, it's not easy to find the final goal. The reason I say kind of, because I'm also not pretty sure that I do this kind of job. Like I want to do this kind of job. But like I told you, only when you do it, you just realize maybe you don't like it. Or when you do it, you find more platform, like you get more resources. That somebody told you, okay, so this is not what you want. The job, it should be like this. And then you'd be like, okay, now I'm getting interested. Maybe I want to do that one, not this one. So you have to try. You have to try different things. Like before 30s, you got to try different things. That's my current logic. Like you don't want, like before last year, I was kind of, how to say, I try to avoid making mistakes, but then I found it's actually a big mistake to try to avoid mistakes, because you got to try different things so that you can know what is right and what is wrong. So now I would say I just set my goals, like before 30s, I want to try as much as possible in a way that I can handle. Like I don't want to do other, the rocket science stuff. I know I'm not that type of person already, but at least in the business area, I can try A, B, and C, and then see if I fit this, fit that, or fit anything else. So still, just try different things, and so you can know more about yourself.
Yeah, nice advice. Yeah, just a try, and you will know, because it's kind of hard to. Yeah, I think that's a good advice. And when do you want to add something before I put another one? Like, because like, let's suppose that we know our call, okay? Like, after we try and everything, and now you know your call. So what, like, if you can give some tips or hacks or advice about how can we achieve our call?
Oh, okay. I think this is something that I just found out recently. Like you know, I prepared for my CFA exam and FRM exam before, the Chartered Financial Analyst and Financial Risk Manager. These are the two certification exam. Um, I realized that we can basically do everything, or we can, even though we fail, we can accept that. Like, we can do everything with this kind of mindset. It's like when you have some goal, don't push yourself so hard at first, at the very beginning. You need to think like how to split these goals into the mini goals or the micro goals. I told this in my other videos. It's like, for example, if you want to finish the exam in 4 months, then you need to tell yourself what you want to achieve in the first month, in the second month, in the third month, in the fourth month. And then each month you need to tell yourself, okay, in the first week, in the second week, in the third week, in the fourth week. And then you need to tell yourself in the first day, in the second day, in the third day, in the day 7, like, how do you want to implement your micro goals, your mini goals, or your goals. And also you need to have your how to say, you need to be flexible with it. You don't want your goals to be just you know, that stiff, because if your goals is stiff, then someday if you get trouble to finish your goals, you'll feel so disappointed that you don't want to do that again. That's a very easy way to give up. So you need to realize that your time is limited sometimes. Sometimes you just cannot finish the goal, but that's fine. You need to realize these facts. But that doesn't bother you to, you know, keep implementing your goal going forward. So I think these two mindsets is very important. One is you need to have your mini goals, micro goals, and second one is that you need to realize the fact that you cannot realize your goal as always, but just keep pushing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can give me some example, like what kind of goal do you want to achieve, and maybe I can share something with you, like how to do that.
Oh, my main goal for now is about yeah, you have experience in it, because I want to stay here in USA. That is my main goal for
Okay.
now, and find a job in here, you know, to integrate in here. So I think you can give me advice in that, because that's kind of thing that you already, you know, you experiment in this field. So
Yeah. Well, for the goal of staying here, well, both of these goals are I gotta say it's very difficult, actually. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Actually, for these two goals, I think it's kind of how to say, vague. Like, you need to think deeper. Like, if you want to achieve this goal, what should you do? Like, if you want to stay in the US, the first thing is maybe you want to get a job. That's one way, right? So then you can just forget about staying in the US. You can just focus on need to find a job first, and then you will have a more clear vision, like how I can get a job. Like, you have into improve your you know, speaking skills. Second, you need to talk to people confidently. And then, like, you have these two mini goals, right? So for speaking skills, like, how would you do? Basically, this one is actually very hard, because it's always you always have a room to improve yourself. This thing, like speaking skills, is very hard. You just need to practice and talk to different people. But for speaking to people confidently, I think, for example, you need to, for each week, you can shadow some TED talk and try to recite something, so that you can just bring something out without thinking about it. Like right now, a lot of people say that I speak fluently. That's because sometimes my brain doesn't work, but my mouth still works. Like, I just recite something and you just say it out. I cannot even think. I cannot even, like, think before I speak something. So I mean, that's maybe the reason that people think I'm fluent, but actually I don't think that's a good strategy. But it's just, you still need to like keep reciting things, keep exercising your muscle, your mouth muscle, so that it can help you in some way. For example, I have a question list. I have an interview question list, which includes all of the interview questions that I had since I had my first interview until now. I think now I already get at least 20 interviews for the job interviews, and I almost includes at least 50 interview questions, and I have my bullets point on that. And when I'm free, I just review what I did and how I can update that information to, just in case someday I have another ad hoc interview. So I just keep reciting it. So sometimes if you ask to introduce myself, I just blah, blah, say that, but actually I didn't think. It's just, the muscle memory, Yeah, I think that's very important.
Okay. Yeah, but since you bring up the interviews theme, like about the interview, and you did a lot of interview, and yeah, so I think for me, I will do the interview. So can you share some advice or bad advice about that again?
I'm sorry, what's the word? Can I share what?
About the advice for the interview, like when you do an interview for a job, because since you did a lot, so you have something to say on that, I think.
Okay, I think the first one is, you gotta be professional, but don't put yourself in a very serious position. Like, you just want to make friends with them. It's not like, oh, I'm begging the job for you. It's like he's also trying to get some information from you. Like, if you are willing to contribute to our company, it's not only about, oh, I want to work for your company, right? So you got to put this position equal on both sides, so that you have more confidence. And they ask something, you just reply. It's not that he asks something, you're still worried about, oh, is that the right answer I should respond, or did I do that? Did I answer the question correctly? Did I perform well? Should I sit straight, or should I like sit flexible, something like that? Yeah, you don't want to think about that. You just think about, okay, this is just friend-to-friend talk, but still be professional. Use some professional words, something like that. And also another thing is just be fully prepared about all the questions that you can think of. Go to the Glassdoor.com. There are a lot of companies over there. The review of companies and the interview questions, so that you can do some research first and then write down all your answers. And there are also a lot of details about how to answer the questions correctly. That's another topic. A lot of details we talk about. Maybe yeah, we cannot talk about it in this because this is a very huge topic. And also accept the fact that you will be rejected a lot of times. So you may know the JP Morgan Chase, right? So I was rejected by JP Morgan Chase 7 times. And the fastest the record is like, I submit my resume in the morning, and in the afternoon 4 p.m. I get rejected. Yeah, so I already get used to that. So that's why I'm not, I think I screwed up a lot of interviews. That's why I can feel, not that, serious about the interview, because I already failed a lot. That's why I can feel flexible now.
Yeah, when I listen to Charlie talk about the interview, that's so clear to me when I picked up that he don't plan for every interviewing session to be a success, as in resulting in getting the job offer. He wants to be himself, be in position to relate to the interviewer, and as a consequence, you can't predict that it's going to be 100% success. And no one can. So what you want to go around that is to generate more opportunities for the interviewing to get into that interviews. So that hopefully maybe your success rate will be 10%. So that means you need 10 to 1. And you need to also handle rejection really well, right?
That's right.
Charlie can share with Ravaka how do you handle rejection and what maybe the worst reaction from you.
I just accept that I'm a loser. I just accepted I was a loser. I mean, at the point that you realize that you're a loser, but it doesn't bother you to keep moving forward. And that's the most healthy mindset, that you just, you just go on. It doesn't matter, right? Because, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. That's, I mean, you just lose your job. So what? You just go back to your country. You still have your plan B. But don't count on it, right? Don't count on plan B. You always have your plan A. I think that's the only thing that I can, survive here. Because a lot of my friends, they go back to China. I mean, I don't mean that going to China is not good. I just think that I want, from my own perspective, I still want to stay here for a while. At least I want to, make my hard work count. I spend a lot of money from my parents. Chinese parents, they pay the tuition fee for their kids. I don't want to, just read a master's degree and then go back. But yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, just always have your plan B in your mind, but don't count on it. Just keep moving.
Yeah, I want to add a bit about mental strength, right? Because it's hard. I have to say, it's hard to deal with success in your own definition. When you reach your level of success, it's hard in a way to handle that. But it's harder to handle rejection and failure. You need to draw in your mental strength. And I always feel worried about the younger generation who graduate, get everything they want. Because every time they are like disappointed, it draw on them so hard. You need to survive those experiences. You need to survive rejection, everyone, and you need to draw on your inner strength a lot to survive in those situations. You will come across rejection more than success. So you do well to handle that. And another thing I want to point out is also life is sometimes not by design. Charlie touched on a good point. Like, you have a goal. I have so many goals that once I'm there, I get there. I see a drawback immediately. Like, I have that goal. I want to be that. I want to be that person. The moment I was there, I'm like, it's so empty. It's not what I want. There's something I see that I don't like about it. Immediately, I'm like, shit, that's not the place I want to be. And then immediately you're like, I want to be in the other position or something like that. And sometimes you have limited knowledge. So that means your goal would not be realistic. For example, at one point you want to do well in life in terms of financial. Seriously, no one knows how the answer to that. Like, what's the right trajectory? If everyone knows the answer, that maybe you just buy a lottery and you win, you go there quickly. Yeah. But you don't know, like, which workplace will give you that, which person will give you that, or maybe going back to China is not going to be bad for some people, because China is doing well. Like, you end up in Beijing, you do even better than in Australia, for example. Right? That could happen to you as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Somphol, so how do we have this kind of strong mindset? Because of course you want to always have the thing that you want in life. So how we do to have this kind of mindset, this strong mindset?
I'm not sure about others. Let's try to share the experience. For me, the worst. I grew up as a man, and most of the time as a man, you learn to deal with emotional rejection. You talk to women you like, you get rejected multiple times. You get like heartbroken, and then you are like almost always vulnerable, right? Every time you turn up and you're like, I want to have a relationship with you, and you got rejected. That is really strong, because you are in a vulnerable position, you get rejected, and you learn to deal with that, right? You learn to survive, learn not to kill yourself, right? That kind of thing. So that's gradually built on that. And every time you suffer, every time I suffer, I always think, whenever I suffer and I look up to people who are better than me, then, well, I forget to look down on people who may be having worse problem than me. For example, if my bank account is zero, there's no point trying to compare myself with people who have millions. But I could look at it the other way. Is my life could be worse. It's lucky not to get in debt.
Yeah, that's right.
And I get to survive another day, and it's like, you bite a bullet, right? You have some courage, and like, fuck it, I'm gonna. Sorry for that. Like,
it's okay.
Yeah. like heck it, like yeah, I'm just gonna go on and try to bite the bullet. Today is not gonna happen. It's not gonna help if I feel sorrow all the time, right? I need to find a smart way of saying what can bring victory tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's focus in on the positive side, right? To see what can be advantage of any situation, even though it is a bad situation. So yeah.
It's really harder than that, because when you lose your mind, you lose everything. You lose your emotion. You actually lose your thought.
You know what? Your words just remind me that I think I would not say this is a solution to strengthen your mind, but sometimes if you really don't have an option, that's the strongest point about yourself. Because for example, when I graduate in Boston, that at that time I only had 3 months to find a job. If I don't have a job in 3 months, then I have to go back to China. Legally, I have to go back to China. So at that time, a lot of my classmates, they graduate, just stay in Boston, but I choose to go to New York City. And I also like recommend other people to go to New York City because, well, if you cannot find a job in New York City, because that's the most competitive city, right? If you cannot find there, you can either find the job in Boston, then you just go back. Because a lot of people, they're concerned about, oh, the housing is so expensive in New York City, I cannot afford it. But so what? Just 3 months. If you don't have money, you just go back. If you cannot find a job, just go back. But why don't you just take a shot? Even though this is a long shot, but it's just 3 months, right? So I went to New York City and actually take a very long shot. I stayed there for 1 year at least because I need to with a master degree. But at the end, I know that is my last option. I don't have other choices. If I graduate, I have to go back to China if I cannot find a job. That's why I push myself so hard to find a job. So yeah, that's the one point that I don't have any option. So that I strengthen my mind at that point. And the second one is last year, I almost lost my job because of some budgeting restructuring or some, the team restructuring. So I faced the risk of losing the job and go back to China. And I just realized that I kind of lose some opportunity. Like I was limiting myself in this box for like 1 year after I moved from New York to Virginia, because once you get a job, you want to stay stable. And then I was kind of lost about myself. And then at that point, I realized that, oh, I may lose my job and go to China. And I found that I don't have any options there like that. Then I just don't give a shit. I just try to get along with myself, get along with my boss and other friends. And then some magic thing happened. Like they think, okay, maybe I'm still not that bad. They still want to keep me in the side company. But that kind of change of mindset is still in my I still have that kind of mindset currently. And now I'm getting more positive. And every time I see the negativity, I will transfer that into positivity. So I would say, yeah, it's not a solution, but once you don't have an option, maybe that's the point that you can strengthen your mind. I hope that makes sense for you.
Yeah, that makes sense for me. But what happens, like, when you don't have an option, like, is it kind of you hope that it will be good, or if it kind of you pray that it will be good? What it mean like during the time that you don't have any option anymore? Do you what I mean? Like, because you don't have any option anymore. So during this time, during this period, what do you do? How do you handle that? Because that's a lot of stress and you don't know what happens. So
well, I just told myself, screw it. I don't give a shit. Yeah, because
okay.
you really don't have a choice, right? Like it's no or never. So why don't you just be crazy for at least one moment and then try to see if that can work, right? Yeah, because so that's what I say. It's very like it's not a solution. You have to you gotta be lucky to meet that moment and to be able to handle that moment correctly, so that you can have a change.
I want to take opportunity to actually say this, right? When you say you don't have options, that's not true, right? Because every time when you give up, you choose to fail. Right? If you think of it this way, you choose to fail. You are actively making active decision to accept your failure and not try to correct the situations. And you thought like, I ran out of options. And you forget that you actually have options. And one of the options you will normally pick, most people normally pick, is they choose to just fail.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, choose to go back to China, for example, right? I mean, going back to China is not fail, by the way.
No,
I don't want to.
yeah. So
yeah, I don't want my friends to say, yeah.
I definitely would not say that as well in terms of like people, every time they lead to a new way of life, they may find success unexpectedly. Yeah. Just that actively, I talked to Ravaka before about responsibility, right? Responsibility is responsibility. If you put yourself using a different word, if you always say, I choose to do this actively, I choose to be angry with this person, I choose to be drawn into a fight if someone provoked me. That means you can, once you accept that it's your decision, not their decision, they may create a situation, but it's your decision to engage in that behavior, then you have no excuse, you can improve on yourself. So that's what I want to share in terms of like, when you don't have option, generate one.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
But you just can't pick like, I want $1 million today and I have no option and you'll never have it. And you're like, what do I do? No one can give you that. So find another target.
Yeah.
All right, folks, I think we are a bit late today and I think that we have a fair share of conversation. The 10 questions, I'm so sorry. We're not going to be able to complete them, but it's a good conversation. We have had, you guys feel a lot more comfortable than when we started, and we should do it a lot more often.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm still very happy that you're having us.
All right, folks, thank you so much for the opportunity. Do you want to say anything before we go, Ravaka?
Yeah, thank you to invite me. It's my first interview ever, and I feel like nervous at the beginning, but yeah, it's an experience. And I mean, as you said, when you do it, you get better and better. So thank you, and thank you so much, Charlie, because I learned a lot of him, and yeah, that can help in the future. So thank you so much.
Sure. It's also a good way for me to review myself. Yeah.
All right, folks, I'll send out the video later, and you guys are gonna get to review yourself. Don't worry about the mistake. Goodbye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Have a good night.